So I worked at YIVO, but the year after that, I was on a fellowship with the Joint Distribution Committee in Moldova, and I worked in the Jewish community in Kishinev. And that was just an absolutely life-changing experience in so many ways. All these ideas I had about, like the global Jewish world and the, Yiddish culture being, everywhere, and about what Jewish life was like in Eastern Europe and what it is like. And all these ideas suddenly became reality, and everything I knew, not everything I knew was right. And I learned all these new things. And that was really one of the most transformative of all these experiences, that in all their different ways were very, very, life-changing. The one that really, I think, has put me on a path and has made me understand all these ideas that I've been talking about was my experience working in the Jewish community in Moldova. I was living in the capital in Kishinev, and I split up the work I was doing into three different, let's say, venues of work. So I was working with older people who have they speak Yiddish, and they remember all these traditions, and to make sure that the traditions that they remember are a part of communal celebrations and are a part of that are somehow passed down to generations. But because of the circumstances of living in the Soviet Union under communism, there was not always a means to pass down tradition. So to sort of rebuild that connection, and also just to make sure that these amazing people know that they're valued. And the Joint does a lot of incredible humanitarian work and cultural work, but it's very different when there's a person who literally speaks the same language, is in front of you and understands and is trying to preserve and use the treasures that you have. So working with the older people in the community, working with the young adults in the community, both to very basically teach them about different traditions or holidays, if they didn't have them in their families or for whatever reason. They might not know what Hanukkah is, they might not know what Pesach is, or they might know, but they've only, observed it once or twice, or they don't observe these things in their family. And so we make a celebration in the Hillel, in the different groups that are there. So working with young people and with young leaders to either create new programs or get existing programs just off the ground and that much more stable. One of the programs I forgot to mention with older people, I helped start a Yiddish, you would call it a Yiddish Winkel, a Yiddish Club, for the people that are really passionate, not just speak Yiddish, but are passionate about Yiddish, and that they still meet about once a month, and there's some really amazing people that have continued with it. And it wasn't like my project. I worked with these people to really get it going, and it still meets. I'm very proud of that. And occasionally, like once in a while, you'll get a younger person who goes to one of the meetings, but the meetings are in Yiddish and they don't really understand. So working with older people, working with younger people, and then the last part that I spent the least amount of time, but still an important chunk of time, working with the community professionals. The concept of a nonprofit and the concepts of fundraising are brand new. And while I didn't then have a tremendous amount of experience in those areas, I brought, my quote unquote Western perspective. And it was all about teamwork. It was never, me, the American, being parachuted in, telling them what to do, but working together to figure out strategies and just, using my experiences in a totally different context to maybe think about their fundraising problems differently, or they're not getting enough people to come to this program. How do we market this program a little bit differently? So in descending order of how much time I spent, that's what I was doing there. And then I really felt like I became a part of the community through this work, through just hanging out with people, celebrating the holidays with people. And it was when I came back from Moldova that this stuff I'm talking about living totally Jewishly, is when I really felt like, well, I was in this Jewish community, the holidays were real, and Shabbos was real, and but if I'm not a part of this community, like, how am I supposed to continue living Jewishly no matter where I am and what I'm doing? So that was also one of the big inspirations.